How you doing?
Great. Good to see you, Benny.
Good to see you.
Hey, appreciate you taking some time to come out and look at the truck with me today in the rain.
Yep.
Hey, so we did an initial proposal, and you told me we're a little bit off on dollars, $675 a month on the lease, and about $10 a day on the rental, which comes out to $219 a month. And what I'd like to have an opportunity today is to differentiate what Kenworth is and what MHC can offer you, and I think we can make that look like a minuscule amount of money.
Okay.
So I want to start off with just image. You know, Kenworth slaps the KW bug right on the center of the truck. Very traditional truck engineering. This cab construction is the same as if you were buying a $170,000 W900. Sometimes people say we over-engineer trucks. We don't think that's possible, but I'll go into more detail on that a little later. I'm just going to kind of go top down. Our roofs are made of just fiberglass, easily repairable. Cabs are aluminum construction. Our hood and fenders are SMC, stands for sheet molded composite. It's a little bit more repairable than fiberglass, holds paint a little bit better. When you get into fender damages and stuff like that, the nice thing is we are a three-piece design. So if you just get into a fender here, a lot of times it's just putty and paste. Or if you have to replace a fender, you're not having to replace the whole hood and other sections of the truck.
Good to know.
Yeah, I also wanted to talk about the grille construction. That's an aluminum mesh grille. Not only does it look aesthetically pleasing, the nice thing about it is if you look at Freightliners and Internationals, you've got chrome plastic essentially that has 2-inch gaps. So what happens if you hit a Sparrow at 60 miles an hour? Right through it, right into your radiator, and you got a $1,800 to $2,500 repair to radiator and cooling system. This also keeps a lot of rock chips out. You know, at least it's full service maintenance, but things like cosmetic damage, that's not covered. This stuff you get billed back on, so just the grill there is a huge part of keeping your cooling system and your radiator protected. I wanted to talk about forward lighting. We're standard with halogen headlights. They have about 25 to 30% more light output than your standard seal beam technology. If you want to go with an optional xenon headlight, it'll get you about 65% improvement. Bulbs last longer. The really nice thing is just forward visibility. I mean, the more you guys can see, the less they're going to hit, hopefully, which saves you money on insurance and claims and all else. Bumpers are steel. They are a one-piece, pretty simplified bumper. One nice thing that we do is we do have them sticking out about 1.5 to 2 inches ahead of the cooling system. Whereas on a Freightliner or International, they're flush. So if you have a minor front-end impact, you're getting into all these components, which end up costing a lot more money. You know, if you just have to replace a bumper, you're maybe $1,100 to $1,200. If you get into fenders and everything else, you're into $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I'm going to go and pop it and show you a couple of things here. We have a full 90-degree hood opening, which is really nice because it allows you to get under here and check everything. All your fluid checks are on one side, so when your drivers are doing their fluid checks, they don't have to be rotating all around the truck. You know, headlights are on us, but if you ever have an issue over the road and you're away from a shop, it's pretty easy just to remove these components, slap a bulb in, and no downtime. Another nice thing is we do not have a doghouse. The engine sits completely outside of the firewall. So from a technician standpoint, it's easier to get in there and work on it. Inside the cab, it gives you a lot more legroom because you're not having to mess with the doghouse, taking up a lot of space in the center. One thing you'll notice too is all of our air lines, light lines, wires, they're color-coded and numbered, and that's from the firewall back to the tail lights. So from a troubleshooting standpoint, it's really easy for us to go in and pinpoint what's going on. I'll go ahead and shut this down. Move along to the side of the truck. One thing that's really a nice feature is our cowl-mounted mirrors. This is the Aero mirror style. We can also get you a West Coast configuration, which is going to look more like that.
Okay.
That's a little cheaper. This is a little more aerodynamic, but the nice thing is they are both cowl-mounted.
Okay.
Let me give you an example here. I could literally do a chin-up on that. If you put 100 pounds of downward force to a Freightliner or International mirror that's door-mounted, you can start seeing the door separate from the top of the cab. One nice thing about this mirror is if you hit the mirror, you replace a mirror instead of having to possibly get into door damage where you're spending thousands of dollars painting and refinishing door or replacing a door shell. Another advantage of having the cowl mounted mirror is if you're in the truck backing up, you need to kind of open the door a little bit to lean out and see where you're at. Your mirror's not going with your door, so your mirror's staying put. You can still have a mirror to look up at, and just from a safety perspective, it gives you a lot more visibility. One thing that separates us also is the 3/8 inch piano style door hinges. Really the difference is the competition uses automotive style hinges. So you have a hinge here and here. This helps for the structural rigidity of the truck. It allows the doors to not sag. I've literally got videos of guys standing on door sills and they don't budge. Kenworth actually took our door design from the shipbuilder industry. It's called a 3/8 thick bulkhead style door. The nice thing is you really got to slam it to shut it. A lot of guys say you have to roll down our window to get our door shut. It actually adds to the structural integrity of the truck. I've seen an example where an interstate battery truck rolled 3 times. Driver was able to walk away from it. Mirror's still attached. The battery box was still attached. Door sagged a little in the middle from where the top of the cab was pushed in, but the guy lived. I mean, just from a safety standpoint, our cabs are solid. Another nice thing is our door seals are actually on the door itself. That not only helps to keep a tight seal, but as you're getting in and out of the cab, the competitors use the seals on the sill, so you're constantly stepping on it. It's just something you're going to have to eventually replace. Leads to wind noise.
We do that a lot with our international.
I bet you do. Another nice thing on the windows is we do use our daylight door construction. It just allows when you're sitting in there to have a little more forward visibility versus a lot of our competition. We lose a lot of visibility there. One thing I forgot to mention up front is the windshield. We do use a roped-in style windshield construction. Nice thing about it is anybody with a spoon can replace a windshield. It doesn't have to sit there and cure for an hour, so that's less downtime when you're having to replace it. Battery box construction, you don't need any tools to get in this. I mean, we're responsible for replacing batteries when they go bad, but if a guy left the key in the on position or left the light on and you guys need to jump one, just pull these off, you get easy access to the batteries. From an entry and egress standpoint, we do offset our steps as well, which just allow for a nice 3-point entry into the cab. One thing I will mention too is the fact that I'm going to get to this a little bit later, but we are a one-stop shop, and saying that, we're the carrier dealer as well. If you lease from a Penske Ryder, I mean, they might be certified to work on them, but we are the actual dealer. We keep parts inventory, so that's one handy thing for you for uptime. Just back of the cab, as I mentioned, we're not going to be able to see it with the box on it, but color-coded and numbered light lines and wires going from firewalls straight to the back of the tail lights for easy troubleshooting. Kenworth custom builds trucks, and that means we don't go in pre-stamped frame rails. You see a lot of competitors that the frame rail looks like a block of Swiss cheese. And they've got pre-stamped holes all over it. That degrades the integrity of the frame rail itself. Every one of our trucks, it's custom drilled. They are heat-treated frame rails, 120,000 PSI, whereas a lot of the competition is only 90 to 110,000. If I can get you to come around to the other side of the truck and hop in, we're going to talk about some of the interior features. And one nice thing about the way our setup is, you've got pretty narrow windshield, narrow cab design, so you've got a lot of forward visibility. We do have a peeper window down here, so when your door's shut there and you've got a car in your blind spot, you can look down and see that he's there, prevent you from possibly rolling into him and having a god-awful insurance claim. One thing that's really nice too is our fuse panel. It's actually mounted right here. Take 2 screws to get to it. Everything is really easily numbered and it's backlit, so access that easily. Most of our competition uses it right there. We've got a glove box instead, so it allows you to have a little bit of extra storage. One option this truck doesn't have, we can get for you for extra storage, is a workstation that sits right here. It has a flip-up deal. You've got places to store files, and a writing surface to e-log or whatever you need to do. One thing you'll notice too is just the overall fit and finish of the cab itself. Our dash is trimmed out, kind of a stainless steel backdrop, chrome bezels on the gauges. from an aesthetic standpoint, it's just a little bit nicer than what the competition can offer. As I talked about underneath the hood, we don't have a firewall, so from the inside standpoint here, you do have quite a bit of leg room. You know, some people dog us for having a narrow cab. There's also some advantages to that. If your passenger has a bad day, it's really easy to reach over here and give him a good pat on the back or count the floor for him, declare a thumb war. He's right there. I wanted to talk a little bit of numbers. You know, I'd given you this proposal previously. There's just a few things that set us apart from the competition. One thing I want to talk about is the fact that MHC truck leasing is part of the MHC dealership network. We're the largest independent dealer network in the country, privately owned here in Kansas City. We don't report to shareholders. Every branch has local decision makers, as opposed to companies like Ryder and Penske that maybe a little bit bigger than us, but also have a lot more layers. So as far as decision making, you can get things done.
Okay.
We are also the carrier transit gold dealer, so when it comes to working on your reefer units, that's all in-house. So it really helps expedite the process. MHC Truck Leasing is part of the Pack Lease network, which has over 38,000 trucks in the fleet, 11,000 customers, 550 locations in the U.S. and Canada. So if you ever have a breakdown outside of MHC's network, we try and route you to a Pack Lease facility. Just gives you another avenue to get repairs done. Skipping through these just for time's sake. Another nice thing is the fact that MHC Road Assist is an in-house service. Pack Lease doesn't have a 1-800 number, but selfishly we created Road Assist within MHC. This is manned out of Kansas City. We've got a lot of ASC certified technicians, which got off the floor and now they're on the phone. So some of these issues on the road a lot of times can just be simple transmission reset procedures where your standard 22-year-old person answering the phone that doesn't know trucks just knows how to call a wrecker, whereas maybe we can walk a guy through a reset procedure and keep them going. So helps prevent downtime. Some of the issues you had talked about, the current fleet is aging. It's leading to increased maintenance costs. You're having to rely on dealerships and mobile service technicians at $140 plus an hour labor rates. You're completely out of depreciation. Drivers are complaining about just the reliability of the equipment, the age itself. Trucks are kind of starting to degrade and fall apart. Your countless hours spent picking up trucks, dropping off trucks. So I'm going to present some solutions for you. We're telling you to replace your entire fleet, 10 trucks with Kenworth. What this is going to allow you to do is have predictable monthly expenses. You get your fixed monthly expense and mileage rate. Turbo goes a couple years down the road, you get a $3,000 or $4,000 expense. That's on our shoulders, not yours. So great for the operating budget. It's going to free up a lot of your time to focus on key business objectives instead of keeping trucks running. We're only 1.7 miles from your facility. We'll pick up trucks and deliver them to reduce you having to pay drivers overtime to shuttle trucks.
That's helpful.
Back and forth. Having the new trucks as a driver satisfaction tool helps for retaining them or recruiting them.
Absolutely.
And you do mention you've got 10 7-plus-year-old trucks you need to sell. So I actually got with my used truck departments. We worked up a package price for those.
Wow.
We'll buy you out of them for $275,000 for the package.
Wow.
As I mentioned, 24/7 roadside assistance. We got substitute vehicles included for breakdowns. Fingers aren't working. So we based this on 30,000 annual miles. You'd indicated that we were about $75 a month high on a lease.
Yep.
You'd asked me to quote a 5-year lease. Was there anything keeping you from going longer than that?
No.
It's on us, right? So,
Right.
So I can get you a $60 a month savings if we either stretch this out to a 6-year term,
Okay.
or I could save you $129 a month if we stretch this out to a 7-year term.
Okay. As long as the mileage, we're okay with the mileage, we're good.
Yeah, I mean your mileage rate stays the same, the reefer hour rate stays the same, and
Okay.
longer term, lower rate.
Okay.
See any reason why we can't move forward?
Not at all. Not with those numbers.
All right. Press hard. Need to get through 3 copies.
Okay, let's do this. Great job.
All right, thanks. That's it, Vince.